I think it's a little bit of both. It's what you work for, all season long. And I think you miss weekends feeling good and feeling calm, because I say once football season starts, no weekend is the same anymore. Your weekend is almost dictated by what happens on Friday night. And I think it's a little bit of pressure. It's a big reward. But I think it just puts in perspective how important this thing is to us.
What do you expect out of Botetourt?
I've been knowing Jamar Lovelace for a long time, and, when you pop in the tape of Botetourt over the last 10, 12 years, they look the same. They're big, they're physical, they're going to be well coached, they're going to run the ball right at you, and if you're going to beat them, you have to stand up to them up front and handle 4 quarters of a fight.
Is the more concerning question, what do you expect out of Botetourt, or what do you expect out of Glass?
I always think, and I don't say this to discredit the other team, but I think that I always say it's us versus us, because I think we have so many things that we battle adversity wise, and I think if we cannot beat ourselves, and if we can overcome just some of the own challenges in our day before we even get to the football game, then we always have a good chance of winning.
Is that a Jeff Woody thing, or who did you learn it's us, it's about us versus us type of thing?
I think it's kind of been, it's kind of been the same deal every program I've ever been involved in, from Hampton-Sydney to Brookville. I just think that you can't take for granted the way that you do things, and when you do your thing the best, I think you give yourself the best chance to win. And I think you look back every Friday night, and it's like, the team that makes the least amount of mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes are forced by the other team, but most times it's kind of just, self-inflicted wounds. And that's our thing. Botetourt's already a really good team, and we don't want to help them beat us in any way possible. So we want to do everything to help ourselves, not hurt ourselves.
Week 1 is different from other weeks. How relaxed do you want your team on week 1?
Oh, man, that's a tough question. I think week 1 is just so, it's so important to get the season off to the right start, especially with young players. I think that, sometimes seeing the fruits of their labor early in the season is a good thing. And, and for us, we've been working really hard. So, starting the season off 1-0 is a good way to go into game 2. But I want us to be loose. It's not practice anymore. This thing counts. And we always say, they're going to write about this in the paper on Saturday morning. So, we want to make sure that we're on the right end of this thing.
Do you have a key on the offense, a key on the defense, and a key on the special teams, or is there just one over-encompassing key on everything?
I think that we got, taking care of the football on the offense is the big thing. And, we're not, I don't know if we're going to score a touchdown every single time we have the ball, even though that's the goal. But we want to put ourselves in a good position, even if we don't get points on the drive, whether it's changing field position, whether it's taking care of the football for the most part. And then on defense, I think it's making tackles, tackling in pursuit. We always say that's what good defenses do. They pursue well, they tackle well. And then for us on special teams, I think over the last few years, we've really given ourselves an advantage in the kicking game against Botetourt. Last year we blocked a punt. Botetourt muffed a punt, and we recovered it inside of the 5. And I think those are kind of 2 big changing points, momentum swinging, turning points in the game. 2 years ago at Botetourt, a kickoff was ran back. And, I think that every year, if you can get ahead, especially week 1 on special teams, you really give yourself an advantage.
I asked Brad Bradley this earlier. I'll ask you as well. At what point do you know what you've got on special teams? Because as we talk now, you really haven't gone that much live. You really don't know what you've got out of your kicking game. Maybe you know a little bit more about the return game, but probably not a lot. When do you know what you have special teams-wise?
It's very hard. I think that's like the last piece of the puzzle. We spend so much time offensively and defensively in camp. And I also think as a coach, the hardest thing in the world to do is to get a scout kickoff return or a scout kickoff team to go and get your guys in practice. We actually do a lot of live special teams work with the JV, varsity kickoff versus JV kickoff return. But even that doesn't simulate what a real game is like. So I think it's always, week 3 or 4 before you really start to settle in with your special teams unit, even when it comes to figuring out personnel. So I think every coach kind of goes into week 1 with their fingers crossed. praying for the best outcome when it comes to the special teams kicking game.
If I took a poll of other coaches or players that you coached and I said, what are you going to know? What do you expect most out of Coach Lovelace, whether it's a football tactic or something else? What do you think they're going to say?
I think they're going to say that he constantly tries to get the most out of us. You know, whatever that may mean. We always talk about squeezing the rag dry. We want to, when guys are done playing for us, we want to wring all the water out of that rag we can get. You know, we don't want to leave any moisture in that thing. So I think that's one common theme, no matter what schemes are running on offense and even with different personnel. You know, everybody on our team, whether you're the guy that plays a whole lot or the guy that never gets on the field, we're going to find a way to kind of get as much out of you as we absolutely can.